most important thing is find Summer.
The longer this goes, the more concerned we get. At this stage, we've received nearly 50 leads. None have panned out so far.
Big mystery in Tennessee. Little girl Summer Wells is her name, 5 years old, missing. The next story we're doing here on our Crime Time segment. Still with us are experts Joe Ested and David Katz, still with us. This comes to us from WTVF in Nashville. Big story there. The search continues for the missing 5-year-old.
It's a statewide emergency, an Amber Alert for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells. She went missing from her family's home on Ben Hill Road in Rogersville. That's in Hawkins County.
The most important thing is find Summer.
Law enforcement are leading an exhaustive search.
The longer this goes, the more concerned we get. At this stage, we've received nearly 50 leads. None have panned out so far.
Right now, they're looking in a mile radius around the family's home and will extend it farther as the search continues. However, it's a slow process.
Some of the issues we're encountering with the search is the steep and dangerous terrain. With this steep and dangerous terrain, we're also experiencing, as you see behind us, very dense canopy coverage, including very dense ground cover, causing search efforts to become very difficult, taking extra time to cover these areas adequately, exhausting teams a lot quicker, in turn causing longer for these grounds to be covered, allowing those teams for recovery and rehab.
All around, it's a day of bad news. With no leads, every second counts as around 100 people search the ground, and aerial search efforts with helicopters and drones also continue. They're asking volunteers and neighbors not to try to aid in the search, as the area is dangerous and it could create another emergency.
Due to the extreme terrain, the nature of this, trying to locate her, trained professionals is what we need at this time.
The TBI is asking for anyone with information to come forward.
All right, what is the next step in this investigation? As you can see, very remote terrain that we're talking about there in Hawkins County, Tennessee. She's just 5 years old, been gone now 6 days. Joe Ested, your thoughts here?
Yeah, listening to the investigators, they're exactly on the right path. The only thing that I didn't hear is, and they probably done it, but they just didn't say, is to check to see if we had any parolees, people on probation, anybody released from prison just recently within that area. But what they're doing, following all leads and just keeping the media informed and being real transparent with the information is exactly the type of thing I like to see here.
David Katz, I mean, we don't know if this was an abduction. We don't know if the child walked away. And we don't know if something else may have happened to that child.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. That was my thought listening to the story. I agree with Joe. They're doing the right thing. But they seem not to have a clear direction, whether someone abducted the girl, God forbid, or whether she just wandered off. Either way, it is very, very tough terrain. So, having been, you did a lot of outdoor stuff, you're in that kind of terrain, you could overlook somebody very, very easily. There's no doubt they're going to have dogs. They're going to have forward-looking infrared, but even though the canopy is thick, they'll get some good results with that. And then, of course, they're going to be looking into, is there any possibility that someone in the area took the poor little girl? Just pray for her safe return as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Joe, and I mean, that investigation has to begin with people who are close to Summer Wells, as well as neighbors, strangers, anyone that may have had contact with her.
Yeah, that is right, Vinnie. I mean, you want to even investigate the parents. You want to investigate friends. I mean, that investigation is open to anybody who they feel that is a possible suspect. And at this time, everybody's a suspect until they're not.
And David, the part that really troubles me is the passage of time, because whatever happened to her, the further away we get away from Tuesday when she was reported missing, I'm just get less and less hopeful.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And to Joe's point, you don't know what the family dynamic is, if there was an order of protection, if there was some issue with mom and dad or other relatives. So I'm not sure that they don't know, but they're not communicating exactly what their theory is. They'd have a diagnosis, then a differential diagnosis if you use a medical parlance. But at some point, they're going to hone in on a direction. And like you said, the passage of time does not work in our favor.
And Joe, we're talking about search efforts. Obviously, they're doing that. But while they're searching, they're also investigating and trying to figure out what exactly was going on in her world before she went missing.
Yeah, you always try to, within the victim, you always try to backtrack the last 24 hours, last 48 hours. Try to see exactly who she came in contact with, where she was at, who she spoke with. You just want to just not, you want to, you know, just investigate everybody you can that was in that girl's presence within the last 48 hours.
All right, final story tonight comes to us from San Francisco. Man caught on camera shoplifting in plain sight.
Call 911. Did they do it? Wow.
All right, there are a lot of questions for this one. One of them is, why didn't the security guard try to stop him? David Katz, corporate security, you're in the business. What's going on here? Can you explain what we just saw?
Yeah, it's a very easy explanation, and that is the law of arrest is different for a police officer and a private security guard. A security guard has no greater authority than a private citizen. So a citizen's arrest is always problematic from a number of angles. But in this particular case, my guess is the client, this pharmacy, probably has made the determination that they would like their guards to observe and report and not take action. Why would they do that? Because let's say he tries to intervene and physically stop this guy from leaving. The guy gets hurt. There's a lawsuit. Even if it's justifiable, there's still an enormous expense, and that expense will generally far outweigh the value of the property that was taken. So it's strictly a dollars and cents sort of thing. So, you know, I get it. We have clients that have told us, look, we don't want any physical contact under no circumstances other than protecting a person. So that's my guess as to what happened here.
It's a shocking video for many of us, Joe Ested. It's not simple shoplifting. I mean, brought in a huge bag for this getaway.
Yeah, yes, he did. And Dave is absolutely right when it comes down to the liability. As a criminal justice instructor, I certify individuals trying to get their security guard license. And a lot of what I've been told by private industries, they do not want their security officers getting into physical altercations because of the liability measures. And like you said, you know, what they take is normally a lot less than the lawsuit that comes out of it. You know, this guy comes in here with a bike. He might be on drugs, might having mental illness. There's several different measures why, or reasons why you would not want this guy who has, 16 hours of security guard training tussling with this petty shoplifter.
Yeah, at the end of the day, no one got hurt, so that's good. But, I mean, it's just shock where we're standing there, we're recording, and I guess someone maybe called police. Anyway, unbelievable stuff. David Katz, Joe Ested, always great to have your insight and perspective. Thanks so much, guys.
Vinnie, thank you.
Thanks
Joe,
a lot,
pleasure
Vinnie.
as always.
Okay.
See you guys.